And now another update on the Rio robbery scandal. U.S. swimmer Ryan Lochte is saying he's sorry. In a statement posted on his social media accounts, he says, quote, "I want to apologize for my behavior last weekend, for not being more careful and candid in how I described the events of that early morning, and for my role in taking the focus away from the many athletes fulfilling their dreams of participating in the Olympics." On the phone with me now from Rio is Ben Tracy. He's been following this story. What more can you tell us, Ben?
Well, it seems to be a very carefully crafted statement, and that's not a surprise because we know Ryan Lochte has now hired a very high-profile crisis communication firm to help him through this particular moment in time for him with the fallout of this. It's interesting what he does not say. He doesn't admit to lying. He uses phrases like, "I should have been more careful in how I described what happened." He doesn't admit to actually doing anything at the gas station. He just says, "I should have been more responsible." And he then, even still flips it around and talks about it's traumatic to be out late at night with your friends in a foreign country and somebody pulls a gun on you and demands money. So there seems to be a part of this where he's trying to have it both ways, where there's a little bit of, okay, I acknowledge I did something wrong here, but also my version of the story is still largely intact.
Yeah, I found that to be actually the most interesting portion of this apology, that the disputed point, whether or not a gun was pointed at him, he's still sticking to. And he's still sticking to the idea that money was demanded of him. You use the word demand, so, there's a coercion involved. It wasn't sort of voluntary.
Exactly. I mean, we do know, since the press conference yesterday with the police, we do know that a gun was pointed at him in some fashion, that the security guard who was there, who was trying to get them to stay after they had caused this damage for the police to come, did at one point point a gun, and the police said that that was because Ryan Lochte was aggressive and erratic and drunk. Now, whether or not that person demanded money at gunpoint seems to be in debate. The police actually say that it was the swimmers themselves who offered up money to pay for the damage and then took off. So whether or not they were entering their pockets with a gun in their face, I think, is a very different version of events that it seems only Ryan Lochte is purporting.
Yeah, and he certainly indicates in the statement that, which we haven't, that portion I didn't read, but he indicates in the statement that he was holding his tongue essentially until the legal situation had been cleared up, which suggests that there will be no further legal ramifications, but at least one of his teammates could not leave the country without paying up.
Exactly. Jimmy Fegan is still here in Rio, and what we've learned this morning, his attorney says that they cut a deal with the authorities here in Rio that he'll pay the equivalent of about $10,000 US in a fine, and those fines typically go to charity in cases like this. That will give him his passport back, and we all expect him to be on a flight tonight from Rio back to the United States.
Now, I don't know if you could even know this, but he was the only swimmer that was asked to pay a fine. The other two weren't. They're back in the U.S. Do you know why that is?
Yeah, it was interesting. The police made a point of saying that the other two swimmers that they, took off those flights the other night who were trying to fly back, they said they only wanted them as witnesses, that they don't believe that the two of them lied about what happened. So I think the way that this went down was that you had statements from Ryan Lochte, you had statements from Jimmy Fegan that the police were given that they have now proven to be false. These other two swimmers had not done that. And so what they basically wanted was the other two swimmers to come back to corroborate the story that the police have now put out there. And they say they have. We have not heard that directly from those two swimmers, but the police say that the other two did say that the version of events that the police put out yesterday is the true one, not the version that Ryan Lochte gave.
All right, Ben Tracy, thanks a lot for the update.
Thank you.